I am TV Wessels. President Trump, I see a lot of liberals wants to tell you what's going on in South Africa. Well, on the ground level, our situation is dismal. And yes, you're correct in assuming that South Africa is a failed state. We are experiencing a war-like situation with more than 22,000 people being murdered each year. Hundreds of thousands of people being the victims of serious crime each year. Thousands of our people and children are being murdered and on a daily basis. I'm a boer and farmer, and since the ANC came into power, thousands of white farmers were murdered and tortured on farms. This being actively encouraged by the ANC and even more corrupt EFF. They have more than 100 discriminatory laws against us, and Ramaphosa's friendly message to the West and outside world differs vastly from his message locally. People are dying in state hospital hallways, waiting for days to be admitted for standard procedures. All this while the ANC cadre steals the money which is supposed to go to the needy. All state institutions are failing, and the woke and liberal DA are the ones signing the expropriation law into power, since they are part of the ANC-led government. This situation is so bad currently that if a loved one doesn't answer the phone, you're immediately worried. What could have happened to them? The woke liberals and the ANC is trying to paint a rosy picture, but if you want our help in your investigation, we will show you the reality on ground level. We already gathered 50,000 signatures in 2 days in support of this message of us. And it is to be handed over in a huge gathering by our fellow patriots and boers Saturday the 15th of February at the US Embassy in Pretoria. This gathering is organized by myself and fellow Afrikaner Willem Petzer. We sincerely hope this message will reach you, and we want to thank the international community for your continued support. We're going to need you in this. Thank you very much.
A hot day in South Africa, and Donald Trump has just come on air to say that he has seen the terrible things going on in South Africa. I live here, and I haven't really seen the terrible things he speaks about. I'm continually amazed at the disinformation that this man sends. I'm amazed that anyone would believe him. We in South Africa are laughing. We honestly are. But what worries me most is that you Americans seem to believe him. Even statements about your own country, you believe that he's doing the best thing. I feel very sad for you and very down. I hope you can get this man out one way or the other.
So this is the first time I'll be speaking on this app now. It relates to Donald Trump's utterances directed at South Africa. I'm sure a lot of you have been seeing the Trump tweets, and a lot of young people on this app has been joking about it. This is actually a serious matter. Donald Trump is undermining us as a country. He's undermining our democratic processes. And then you also have AfriForum on the one hand, entertained by Trump's tweets. And sort of, it's like a confidence booster for them because, you know, they're always looking out for the white minorities' interests. And personally, I feel like AfriForum should be dealt with. They are undermining us also as a country. Parliament passes laws, Parliament passes acts democratically. If an act or a law is unconstitutional, they should approach the courts. They shouldn't be entertaining Trump.
Hey, lovely people, and particularly a quick word to my American friends who might be tempted to believe what Donald Trump is saying about South Africa, my home country, where I happen to be right now. Him and Elon Musk are racist twats who have no idea what they're talking about. Because what they're doing is taking the word of a fringe racist group called AfriForum and other disaffected whites, disgruntled by the end of apartheid, feeling hard done by, and much like the Israelis, victimizing themselves when they are not victims at all, about how, you know, land redistribution is racist against whites. These are such ignorant provocateurs, and it's going to backfire on them. South Africans' majority, the black majority, and it's a multiracial, multi-tribal society now, only own a tiny proportion of the land versus the size of their population. And while white South Africans make up 7% of the population, more or less, they own about 70% of the decent land. And so the redistribution of land is to address past inequities, and the vast majority of South Africans agree and understand why that's happening and that it's a good thing. It's also under a very strict mechanism. Now, not everyone agrees, of course, with the mechanism, but the principle is what racists like Musk and Trump are railing against here on behalf of a bunch of assholes who equate equality with oppression, because for so many years, decades and decades of the apartheid era, they were the oppressor. And as we know, whenever the oppressor looks at something like equality, it suddenly becomes oppression of him. So Elon Musk, these idiots from AfriForum, you probably know nothing about them, but this is a bunch of, the equivalent of your kind of Proud Boys hanging on to some past that never actually existed, and a past in which the vast majority of people in this country were oppressed, suppressed, and treated much like, fortunately not quite as badly as the Israelis treat the Palestinians. So this whole railing against South Africa, I'm going to add one more point. South Africans on the whole, all of us, white, black, Indian, colored, which is not a term, is a specific term for those of you who might get offended by that, a specific racial group. We are very, very resilient people. As a country, we have gone through a great deal, both in terms of the early part and then the transition from the apartheid era to genuine multicultural democracy. And whatever Trump throws at us, we can handle. We can handle it because we've been through far, far worse in our history. And my hope is that South Africans all turn around with one voice and tell Trump to off with his sanctions and his withdrawal of aid and his tariffs and all of this stuff, because we can live through it. What I'm not sure about is whether Americans can, because for the most part, all the stuff that Vivek Ramaswamy said recently about Americans being soft, not prepared to put in the hard graft, and all this stuff, I tell you, for the experience of most foreigners is true. Now, it's not true of every American I know. Some of them are the most hard-working, wonderful people in the world. But as a general principle, South Africans are far more resilient and able to withstand this kind of authoritarian pressure than any American population. So, to my fellow South Africans, let's stick this out. Let's stick up the middle finger to Trump and particularly to Elon Musk, because we know from his background that he left South Africa in the apartheid era and retains the racist bullshit that's motivating these people like Creel. And now that I'm in South Africa, I'm seeing their awesome, ridiculous tweets. Those guys as well. They're the past. Most of us are the future, and it's a beautiful future.
There are a lot of illegal immigrants here in South Africa who are white people. Many of them are found in Cape Town. One of them the other day tweeted that, I came to Cape Town for tourism 6 months. I can't believe I even stayed for more than 12 months. It's so nice. This thing can hear that he's saying it's illegal in the country, but it doesn't apply to white people. There was never an outrage on Twitter that she doesn't have visa. Had a black person said that, or my brother, the way is so nice here in Hillborough. I didn't even renew my visas. You will go home the following day. Our own people will go hunting for that person. But I looked at that thing of that white lady with interest, and I wanted to see what is going to be the reaction. Nothing.
The most interesting thing about this video is the fact that you have some of these farmers here. You have some that are speaking truth, right? They're like, hey, Trump, the United States, you guys need to, that's this government, you guys need to mind your business. This is not your fight. This has nothing to do with you, how it is that you're speaking directly on this. And you're stating that you're going to come through and you're going to make some type of regulations. You're going to somehow, some way get involved with how it is that the land is being redistributed and all of these things, right? But then you have the other voice, or you have the one guy who was like, hey, Trump, you got to woke this and woke that and woke this and woke that. As soon as I heard that, I already knew what time it was. Already knew. Because only in the United States has the terminology woke mainly been used. And like I told people before, some of the main people that use this terminology were black people. Black people use this in a positive light. It meant that people were aware. It meant that people actually cared. It meant that people were going to be proactive in actually doing something. I mean, people were more informed, more educated about different things that were going on. Somehow, some way, when it dealt with the white Americans getting attached to the word, they tend to demonize it and put it in such a frame that it is a negative so that nobody wants to use it. It's almost the same as a certain symbol that gets used or that was used historically, right, in a negative light. But when you go to India or other areas, it means something vastly different, especially over there in India or Indonesia or whatnot. It's a symbol of peace and different things of that nature. When other people, Europeans, got a hold of it, they used it for their own means. And they used it in order to cause fear, right? To cause separation, to cause division, to cause destruction, cause war. And it's the exact same thing that you're seeing here at this moment in time. And it's crazy how that term reached all the way from North America all the way over to South Africa. It's insane. But again, this is what happens when you just so happen to have the internet, and those people on the internet have somebody to look up to, somebody that makes them feel emboldened. And people have to also understand the fact that a lot of these white Afrikaners, or these Boers, as they like to call themselves, they are a small, minute, slim margin of the population, but they have the overwhelming majority of the land, which makes no sense. And again, these people were never, ever naturally there. But yet, the black demographic that is there, who are the main source of the population, have a small, minute section of the land. And somebody has to let me know, how does that work? That's like Africans going over to Europe and having the ownership of the main portion of the land, and the reverse happening to the white Europeans that are there. They would never ever allow anything like that to happen. So how it is that they supernaturally decide that, hey, South Africa, we're just going to take all of this land, and that you guys, we're going to make you guys workers. So we're going to give you guys separate education. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. If you don't know any of which that I'm talking about, I did a live stream on this about a day or so ago, going over the different acts ranging from some as old as 1911 all the way up into about 1968, 1969. And a lot of these acts 1 through 16 that were at least listed were not done with up until the early 1990s. These people in South Africa were made to suffer by way of their government. So now you have the white minority there in South Africa crying about something that once was. Now they want to make it seem as though like they're really being attacked. They're really being harmed by this. It's a disservice, that, this, that, and the third. It was a disservice on what you did to those people during the apartheid. It's a disservice on the fact that you want to say that everything is equal there, but yet you made sure to have a type of system, right? You specifically said that you have white, you have black, you have mixed or colored, you have Asian, Indian. You made sure to have these different groupings of people, right? Making sure that they were separate and not equal. And also going so far as to do the same with the education and the jobs. It's some incredible work. And now you want to turn around and act as if that everybody's just picking on you. You were just there minding your own business, and then people just decided to do this clearly for no reason. That's nonsensical and ridiculous. That is not the truth. You know that is not the story. But yet, whenever it is that people want to now start standing up, they want to start bringing up their own voice, they want to have a little bit of justice, now you guys are like, oh no, they're trying to this, they're trying to, nah. And then on top of that, the one guy that wanted to really was like, hey, Trump, we got 50,000 votes. Out of all of the things that he listed, I wonder how many of those farmers were doing things directly to the South African peoples, how it is that they were treated, how it is that their families were broken up, how it is that a lot of things that don't get mentioned were done to them. Because I promise you, none of those people there are innocent. Their fingerprints are everywhere. But yet, They don't want to make everybody aware of their history and what it is that they've done. But they want to make sure to let you know, hey, this is what these black South Africans are doing to us. This is wrong. This ain't right. We need everybody to step in and do something. No, this is just what it looks like when the power is being redistributed. This is what it looks like when a little bit of equality is actually happening because of the inequality that has been taking place and allowed to take place for centuries. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.